Hello, this is Scott. Welcome back to my YouTube channel where I cover a variety of different data science and analytics topics, including open source and commercial demos, as well as just discussions of topics related to data science and analytics. Today we're going to talk about an open source platform called R. We're going to look at a couple of plots in R. Specifically, we're going to look at XY scatter plots, which is probably the most frequently and one of the most powerful plot functions for doing statistics. There's a lot of different options. We'll see some of those. And essentially, you know, we plot two variables, continuous variables, in a Cartesian type of plane, and that's what we'll be doing. If you were with me before, this is continuing some information that I've been sharing from Sarkar, and the data set that we're going to use is the Quakes data, which we saw a couple episodes back. I'm going to go ahead and just execute these the graphics package as well as Lattice, and I expanded my screen. Hopefully you can see the screen a little bit better. I've enlarged it based upon some feedback that I got. So the first thing is we can look at this data set here. So I'm going to just do a help on Quakes, and I can see that I have a latitude, a longitude, a depth in kilometers, the magnitude of the quake epicenter on a Richter scale, and some stations reporting data. So that's the data itself. I'm going to execute this first command, which is a simple XY plot, latitude by longitude. I'm going to cut into two panels evenly, and I'm going to use this data. So if I execute that, the first panel on the left, I can see that I have latitude running -10 to -50 or whatever it is. And then the longitude's running from 165 to 190 for both these panels. The difference being here, the depth of the quake epicenter here is from 39.4 kilometers to 360, and then from 360 to 681, so it divides those two panels. So I can find a lot of information on the XY plot by just typing in help XY plot, and then it'll give me information on the bivariate trellis plot. And you can see that there are lots and lots and lots and lots of options here. So we're just going to cover a few of those tonight. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to make, now I'm going to, instead of two panels, I'm going to make three panels here. I'm going to use that with the quakes. I'm going to do an ISO aspect ratio, and I'm not going to go through every one of these during this video because you can look at it in the help, and you can make a screenshot of this and you can reproduce this code if you want. So I am going to label longitude and latitude this time and use a strip with depth. So if I execute that, you can see what happens is I now have labels of longitude and latitude here, and then the depth panel comes in here. If you remember before, I didn't have any of those labels. Actually, I had long down here, but I didn't have proper labeling. I didn't have any labels within the panels themselves. So I added those within the code here. So this looks a little crisper, and I now have the three panels like I mentioned. So now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show depth as a category. So instead of doing three panels, we're going to do a color basis, and so I'm going to do three different color cuts on this, and I'm going to again add the title of depth, longitude, and latitude. Okay, so if I execute that, now I have three categories. The blue dots are between 40 and 139 kilometers for the epicenter. Then the magenta is 139 to 498, and then this dot here, which is green, is 498 to 460. So these green dots in here are very, very deep epicenters. All right, so now I can do a couple of other things. I'm going to grayscale here. So I'm going to grayscale colors based upon the depth here. So let me execute this first command. I'm going to pass that into the column, ordinal, and then execute the plot itself here. So now, instead of having the 3 different colors, I've rescaled my points in this XY plot, and I've grayscaled the 3 different ones. Essentially the same information, a little nicer visual, possibly. Just depends upon what you want to do. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to plot across the magnitude. So I'm going to take this magnitude in. I'm going to throw this into this quake's magnitude variable. If I look at the summary here, you can see down here on the bottom, I've now created 4 different intervals, and I used a function for equal count, so these are approximately equal, the min and the max, and you can see those magnitude categories that I just created. Next, I'm just going to pass in some color, and then the depth, and then I'm going to plot again here. So now I've created four different panels. I have latitude here, longitude across here, and then what's happening is the different levels of magnitude across those. And lastly, I'll just plot the depth, and so you can see this is kind of busy. Really, the only thing to this is I'm adding a scale along the right side so that I can see the depth along with this. So anyway, I'm going to end there. I like to keep these fairly short. Hopefully you can join me next time when we continue on into graphics, trellis in R. Thank you.